Good, good afternoon. How's everybody out there? Before it even start, right? Normally, I'm on right at the beginning, and then I wait a few moments. But as people trickle in, and we are going to wait a few moments, but we're going to continue with part two of sex and relationships from a man and a woman's perspective. So we continue with where we left off on Thursday. Kind of recap some of that, but then continue where we left off. Oh, let me start my timer so we can get this moving. I think I may need to switch to iPhone because the batteries don't seem to be lasting too long on these Samsung devices, although this phone is 4 years old. No, what am I saying? I'll never switch to an iPhone. Unless I got one for free, maybe. Because I like free stuff. Dizzy, how'd you come up with that name, by the way? No. Not Team iPhone. Why didn't nobody tell me that I needed lotion on my hands? But how'd you come up with that name? Is it because you fall down a lot, or? And I think in the future I'm gonna switch to. I was told that I think in the future I'm gonna switch to a podcast type of setup. I have microphone and some other devices over there, so I think I'm gonna switch. Oh, I forgot to set the timer. Hey, Nicole and Hunter, good evening. What's the weather like where y'all are at? Sunny here, but I thought it was going to be a tornado yesterday. I'm going to wait another. Why is that an awesome last name? That's funny though. We're going to wait about another minute. Yeah, we'll wait another minute. Crenshaw. Short this. $66, isn't the number 66 a bad number? Or is that 36? Yeah, it's 3 6s. Never mind. You are from Crenshaw Mafia. You're not too young to have seen that movie? We are going to, let me stop this, go ahead and and get started. So I'm just saying good day to everyone out there. This is Dr. Artbert again, Dr. O for short. Thank you for viewing and participating in this video. And special thanks for those who are participating and watching as it's live. Remember to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already. And like usual, I'll close at the end. But today we're going to continue the session from Thursday, where we talked about sex and relationships from a man and a woman's perspective. So this is part 2 of that. And before I get going, like I've done in the past, I kind of speak in general terms, right? I'll say men or I'll say women, but I'm generalizing. I'm not trying to imply that it only applies to men or it only applies to women, that it can be either or, but just in general, it applies to men more so than women, or it applies to women more so than men. All right, so last week, a quick recap. Last week, what did we talk about? We talked about sex differences between men and women from a variety of points or perspectives. We talked about it from a sexual orientation perspective, where I describe how with men it's physical or it's compartmentalized. Where men, we can make it simply about sex and sex only. We don't have to go out on dates or anything like that. For men, sex is kind of a high priority, if not the highest of priority. And when we generally view sex as intercourse, which we more of the biological function in the physical act to satisfy or quench our sexual desire. But in comparison to women, it's more relational as opposed to physical. It's more holistic as opposed to compartmentalizing how men tend to do so. It's they would prefer at times to go on dates or establishing some type of connection in other ways, such as an emotional connection. Emotional connection with women, I'm not sure about y'all. So speaking of emotional connection, I mean, have you ever really just wondered why women appear to be more emotional? And they're for some of us in the psychological and medical fields, there's a reason why, and it's filled with research that shows women they have been able to retain stronger, more vivid emotional memories of emotional events in their life, and also can quickly and recall the events faster than men. So if it seems that women are emotional creatures or they get emotional faster, there is research out there that states why. So sometimes they may hold on to an emotional situation or never forget a situation where they were extremely emotional. But anyway, back to what we talked about last section. As opposed to sex being a high priority for men, like it is for men, sometimes again the highest of priorities for women, you all may have higher priorities. They may not be as high on the list. Instead of looking at sex as intercourse, we talked about how you all looking at the intimacy. You're more concerned and involved in intimacy, and that's usually as an indicator of a deeper relationship, deeper intimate relationship, as opposed to men. We talked about how men are quickly or get excited quicker than women, and compared to men, women get excited a little slowly. And it can be difficult to distract us. Once we're in the act, once we get going, it doesn't matter if a tornado comes through or not. We're trying to finish. And for women, is not so much. They get distracted easier. We talked about how men are acyclical, it's called, which is anytime, anywhere, we are ready. Anytime, anywhere, we are ready. Versus women, they're more cyclical, which is at times they may be interested in sex, and then at times they may not be. We talked about sex from a need standpoint, stimulation standpoint, where men, we are drawn into to sights, right? If we're interested in curves, that draws us in. We get excited quickly by visual, by physical stimulation. Sometimes a word or two may get us going, even if the word or two is not meant in a sexual manner. If we interpret it that way, that's all we that's all we need. For a man's sight and sound and smell like a lady's perfume will get us going. Compared to men, women, you all are more about the whole person, like the man's attitude, not just what they smell like or what they look like. You're interested in how they touch you, their actions that they bring along to the relationship. They're the whole body, not just the body of a man. And we also looked at it from an orgasm standpoint, where from a man's standpoint, an orgasm is it's like a propagation of our gender. It's who we are. Almost like a selfish type of thing. And I don't think I said this last time, but it's from a selfish type. We're worried about getting off. And yes, the woman matters, but we are worried more so about getting off. And from a woman, on the other hand, it's more of a propagation of togetherness. It means togetherness or oneness with the person that you are with. And then from a woman's standpoint, we talked about how sexual satisfaction is usually, or it could be possible without an orgasm, while a man, we need that orgasm in general most of the time for it to be satisfying. And I'm not talking about, I broke this down last time, and I'm not talking about, when I say orgasm, not so much the ejaculate part, but the orgasm part. And I explained how orgasm and ejaculation, they are two distinct physiological events or actions, where ejaculation, of course, is the semen, and the orgasm is the pleasurable part. So you can think of one as the physical, and then the other as the mental. They talked about how they happen simultaneously most of the time, and people aren't aware they are two distinct things. It is possible to do one without the other. Then we moved on to, we kind of transitioned then, I believe, to a question and answer type of session where, and I'll repeat some of those questions this time around. I kind of may go back and forth, but as usual with these things, we'll go where the discussion leads us. So the first question I have is, what three words, in using three words that describe your favorite type of sex, use three words to describe your favorite type of sex. That's what I want to know first. What are three words that describe your favorite type of sex? They could be contractual words, right? You can put two words together to make one. What three words? Three words that describe your favorite type of sex. I will type mine. You need more than one. What three words? Mine is, okay. Those are my three words that describe my favorite type of sex. So inside a woman are the three words that I chose. So what are some of y'all's? Why does it have to be brutal? And then demonic? I don't know about all that. What is it that you're doing that make it brutal or wrong? What's so wrong? What is it that you do? That's so funny. I'm gonna type I'm gonna type this in. I think I'm gonna start typing the questions. All right, so the first question is, what 3 words that describe your favorite type of sex? Rough, passionate, and freaky. Well, hold on, Stallings, because we know how you get down. You'll throw up on a fool in a minute, right? So it don't matter. You don't care. I got more than 3. Nope, just 3. Just 3. Just 3 words that describe your favorite type. Okay. All right. Well, I definitely don't want you, if it's classified, I definitely don't want you to have a wine. I hope y'all don't matter. Or mine. I definitely don't want you to leak classified information. No, I'm not starting. You started it. You brought in her age. I didn't say anything. If she was a child, she shouldn't be doing grown-up things. So stop it. Okay, you keep talking about her age, but you can't on one hand say she was a child, right? But then on the other side, she's doing grown-up things. Like which one is it? It can't be both. You're playing both sides of the fence. So was she a child? Stay away from grown-up things. Stop trying to show off like she was trying to do. And none of that, everything that happened wouldn't have happened. So stay out of grown folks' business. Or if you're gonna do grown folks stuff, your age don't matter, right? So anyway, we are talking about sex and relationships. For those of you who are joining us from a man and a woman's perspective, this is part 2. So we're continuing with part 1. There will be some overlap. But the first question is 3 words that describe your favorite type of sex. And make sure you hit that subscription button and notification bell if you haven't already. But 3 words that describe your favorite type of sex. Okay, better now. Yes. All right, I'll try to leave you out of it, but I can't promise because that was so telling and gripping. Three words, and we're going to move to the next one. 3 words to describe your favorite type of sex. Mine is inside a woman. Those are my 3 words. So she wasn't no damn child. Right. Kids play with Barbies, right? Or trucks, Transformers, or even these days, what? Video games. They do something. Read a book. Not the Hong Kong saucy slap. Okay. All right. Sure. So, what are 3 words that describe your favorite type of sex? Mine is inside a woman, I think. So as long as that's happening, then it's my favorite. And while that's funny with my husband, I like that. That was clever. I like that. Okay. 3 words. The question we're on is 3 words that describe your favorite type of sex. I'm not sure what type of one this is. I just kind of started drinking wine. I'm not big into alcohol. A little bit of my story. I don't think I tried alcohol for the first time until I was 25. Yes, I was 25. The girl I was with and everything. I only had one. I think I told this story before. I only had one drink, and it was a fruity drink, like an apple martini or something like that. And that was it. It was that night. I woke up the next morning with the worst headache I think I've ever had, just off that one. And it was and she was there beside me. I woke up and said, "Man, I got this headache." She said, "Well, you're hungover." One, I don't even know what that means, right? So, but if this is a hungover off of one drink, why would somebody do this more than once? But anyway, fast forward to today. I don't really drink. I'll drink wine from time to time, and I'm just starting to drink it uninhibited, unbridled, and naked. That's clever. Passionate, lovemaking, and sometimes hardcore. All right. Sober or drunk. Are those two words? That's two words. Rashida, are you saying you like to be sober or drunk? What's your third word? I know you're probably saying something else, but that's the way it came through. Monique, good afternoon to you. Good to see you. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell. What we're talking about is sex and relationships from a man and a woman's perspective. This is part two. Part one, you all missed it. Go back and watch if you haven't. But the question is 3 words to describe your favorite type of sex. And we got quite a few. Demonic, I'm not even sure what that means. And brutal, I can only imagine what you said. That's classified information. No, what type of sex do you like from a sober, drunk standpoint? They differ from me. Well, so we know that you get down either way. Congratulations, or good for you. But it's up to you. Whatever you feel like sharing, whatever you feel like sharing. So whatever you feel like sharing. Drunk sex is fire, right? Oh, Starling. So were you drunk at 17? Or did you think if you were, that whole situation with the situation wouldn't have happened if you were drunk? Or if you were drunk, if you were sober? I wonder how they would have played a part. So Enigma, you're demonic and brutal, but you don't drink. Good for you. Good for you. I don't really care for doing sex. I think I had that maybe a handful of times, and yeah, I don't know if I care for that personally. Only because what I do to you, I need you to remember. I really need you to remember. Whatever I do to you, you're going to need to remember this. She got so why does she have to be light skinned and short? Vocal is a good one. Why does she have to be light skinned and short? Not too short, right? So I'm gonna get to this a little later. I got a question, so if I don't say it, somebody remind me. But yeah, I'm gonna get to that a little later. I think I'm gonna wait. Light skin and short. Why that combination? What's wrong with tall and dark skin or short and dark skin? No, I'll say it now, right? I'll say it now. So can't be too short. Like me, I am definitely afraid of midgets or little people, right? So that scares me. So like midget short, no. I, I'm afraid of. I actually stayed in the bank once. I was leaving the bank and there was a midget out there, a little person, whatever the correct, politically correct term is. What That's what it was. And she was talking to an average size guy, and I stayed in the bank until because they were parked by my car. And at the time, and I don't have one of those cars you can summons or anything like that, but I had to stay in the bank until they left because. And then if they're dark, if they're little people or midget and they're dark, really dark, and they have white teeth, that really puts me over the edge. It just does something to my soul. I don't know why. I don't know why. But so I don't know. You were high. Okay, good for you. Wait, I thought when you're high, it's supposed to make you want to eat and keep food in. You got rid of stuff. How did that work? Yeah, I want to. why light skin and short? 5'4" and under. Okay, they inspire you. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I have to tell that one story again. That one story I told a few weeks ago. Is it okay if I tell it? Enigma. When I came to visit, and there was a little situation, I need you to type in yes, so I can know. Tall and dark skin is pure wickedness. You're gonna get beat up in here. Why? Why? Why is tall and dark skin pure wickedness? And why the messages are still coming in, YouTube is kind of late at times. I'm gonna move to the next question. What's one thing you were once afraid of or afraid to try, but ended up loving during sex? All right, so I'm gonna tell the story, and then I'll repeat that question. And you'll have to correct me, Enigma, if because you haven't always hasn't always been about short and light skin. So when I came to visit, and this was some years ago, I don't know, probably during the Clinton administration. I'm not sure. It was a long time ago when we were different. When I came to visit, and there was this girl sitting on the couch by the front door, and I didn't know who she was. I didn't see her. I forgot who I was coming there to visit, but she wasn't. No, she wasn't light skinned. She was feral. She was darker. So I went upstairs, and I'm talking to the people in the room, and I'm kind of a foot in the room and a foot out the room. And next door, the room was closed. Didn't know who it was, right? And I don't know, 5 minutes go past. The door was already closed when I got up there, but 5 minutes come past. A girl comes out, dark-skinned girl. She walks past me. And then I hear somebody in that room say, okay, hey, tell the girl waiting downstairs, I'm ready for her, right? So she walks by, goes downstairs, tells the girl, hey, he's ready for you. And then she come upstairs. Neither were, I don't know their height because I was more in shock, but neither were light skinned. But they were waiting for you, fool. So you were upstairs with one. One girl was down there. She had her hands on her lap. I do remember that. She was patiently waiting. I said hi when I spoke when I came in. She didn't say anything, so I don't know if you told her to sit there and shut up and not say anything to anybody or what. But she was patiently waiting, and and sure enough, like she was ordered, she went downstairs and said, "Hey, he's ready for you to come up." And she left, and the girl came up, walked past me, and I'm just in shock. And I think I left after that because I couldn't be around any of that. But neither of them were light. So when did that? so so when did that change? right. So yeah. He had them waiting, and granted, it could have been two. I don't know how many were already waiting. But when I got there, it was one waiting. So who knows how long that had been going on? But then they said, oh yeah, he's always doing stuff like that. So anyway, when did that change? When did that change? Well, no, no, I like dark, tall, short, chubby, petite. So you like them all. But the short, light skinned ones inspire you. Well, we don't know why he didn't have a threesome. Maybe they didn't get along. Who knows? Maybe the girls didn't get along. Here's the next question. What's one thing you were once afraid to try in the bedroom, but end up loving? What's one thing? What's one thing? I understand, Enigma. You get the crazies with them. That's funny. I kind of, I guess we all have what we like, correct? Right? Well, some people are afraid to try some things, right? Some people won't try some things, and they were against it in the beginning, and now they love it. And I know there's at least some out there who didn't like doing some things, but now they love it. So be honest and say it. I don't know. I don't. I don't know. So what are some things? What's something that I've tried or that I was afraid to try, but end up loving during sex? I don't know. I don't think I was afraid to try anything, but but afraid to try. No, right. So should you be afraid to try things during sex? Maybe it comes down to a trust thing or a judgment thing. I don't know. But what are some things that you all have tried but end up loving? Well, let's just what are some things? I don't think I have anything that I was afraid to try. I have some things that I won't try, but I don't think I had anything that I was afraid to try but end up loving. Yeah, I don't think I had anything I'm afraid to try, but end up loving. I don't think. No, I can't. I can't think of anything. What do you mean, Rashida? Isn't that an island somewhere? I think, right? That reminds me. I think there's an island somewhere in the Caribbean Sea. So I don't know what you mean by that. I can't say it, but it's only with one particular person. Sure, you can say what you were afraid to try, but now you love. Is my mother still here? Because if so, I'll sit this one out. Nope, I don't think she's there. So say it. The question is, what have you what were you afraid to try before doing sex, but now you love it? Let me type that. Let me type that. Let me copy and paste that original question in. Here's the question. What's one thing you were once afraid to try, but end up loving during sex? I don't think there's anything that I was afraid to try because I guess nope, can't think of anything. I guess I'm too much of a freak to have things that I didn't want to try and never did. There's certain things that I won't do. What do you mean by all of it? What do you, what do you mean by all of it? I don't know if Koi was afraid to try anything because we know she goes all in. It doesn't matter if she gets sick or not, or what it does to her vocal cords or body or anything. So I think she's down for all of it. So I don't think she'll have an answer to to this question, and that's funny. No, I can't think of anything. I kept trying something that I was afraid to try, but end up loving. I would not get with anyone that was below a 7. And I tried a few 6s and it was good. I liked it. I liked it. They were nice. um, I won't say I love it now, but I'll do a threesome. All right, so you're missing the question. What were you afraid to try, but now you love? All right, so Rashida, you were afraid of that, but now you love it. But that wasn't the reason why you were bawling that one time last session you missed. You mentioned that you were just crying and crying, couldn't stop. And it wasn't because of that, was it? Yes, she's that type. If I die, I die. So what? Nicole, you have a whole bunch of question marks. Is that a question for whom? Are you saying that's your answer? that is very, that's very. Them fours got that work. Is that because? And I don't mean this in a negative connotation. It's just more of a bias that I've heard that the uglier a person is, the more they have to do. I don't know if that's true or not. It's not for me to judge or not, but is that what you're saying? Fours get that they get that work in. You cry because of emotional, not pain. Emotional because you love that so much, something different. You know, back in the 70s, we blacks were slow starters orally. Yes, we were. I remember that. We were. I was afraid to try a threesome, but I'll do it now. I don't love it, but I don't mind it now. All right, let me write that down. All right, got it. I agree. The chemistry was just there. I'm gonna move on to the next question. All right, so the next question, and we'll circle back as necessary, but I want to know what turns you all on. So men, what turns you on, and that's what has to happen for you to be interested. And women, same thing. What has to happen for you to be interested in sex with a person? What turns you on? All right, and I'll type that. I'm sorry I think I'm sorry that your husband's not having it though. Okay. I don't know if I should be sorry or not. Or I don't know if you're upset with that or sad about that. That's the next question. Turn-ons. Turn-ons. What turn? I think I'm sorry. Okay. You may want to talk to him about it. Nowadays, a cooperative attitude. Okay. So, is that it may have come in late? Is that the answer to the turn on? That hey, if they're cooperative, then that's a turn on for you. That's important. It's an instant attraction. You can't deny not just emotional, but just attract. Okay. What if, and it's based on what Cash Mom just said, what if there's an instant attraction? And this is probably better suited from the man's perspective. What if there's an instant attraction, but then you later learn that what you were attracted to was not truly what you're looking at, meaning she had fake hair, fake eyelashes, a lot of fake stuff on her. Her makeup done so you didn't see everything and all that stuff. Does that change anything for you? Nice sense of style, smelling good, listen to them speak, and it's of substance, attraction. And you did say you are working on letting people speak, so good for you. What turns me on? Taller than little person or midget height, right? So they have to be that because for those of you who have missed it, I'm definitely afraid of little people and midgets. They'll stop me in my track. But I am more of a what's called a taller than you, so you get what you see. I am what's known as a sapiosexual, where I am extremely attracted to intellect. I'm extremely attracted to intellect, and that will kind of hide or make up, not hide, but make up for some of the some of the shortcomings. Again, if they're a midget or little person, it doesn't matter. No, that's too much for me to overcome. But that's a turn on for me, which is a sapiosexual, being attracted to intelligence or intellect. And that can be from a sexual or non-sexual way, just because a person's, I deem them intelligent, especially having a high emotional IQ. That doesn't mean I'm looking at them in a sexual way. However, if paired up with other things, then that truly is what gets me. A confident, emotionally intelligent, especially but intelligent woman. Literally slam. I just throw it. so, so you're talking about literally slamming. You want to slam a midget one time, like you're wrestling, or what? Because I took ad you wanted to get with one, you wanted to have sex with one, not body slam or DDT a person instead of tricep. We're talking looks, physical, tall, kind of husky guy, facial hair, big herd. I don't know what that means. What's facial hair, big herd mean? I don't know what the big herd means, just to name a few. So, Enigma, what do you mean by slamming a midget? Oh, what type of wrestling? what type of wrestling? That's extremely funny. Beard. Okay. Oh, big beard. Okay. Facial hair, big beard. Okay. I didn't know if that was country slang or something like that. I don't know. Okay. The next question is, what's off limits in the bedroom? What are y'all considered off limits? Let me type this. I think it's the fourth question. What's off limits in the bedroom? Big herd. I still don't know you said beer, but I think you meant that. I think that's country or something. 2 men is off limits. I agree. I cannot be in my butt is off limits. I don't know what that means. I can't be in a threesome with another man. So if midget is up here, I don't know which one. Midget is here and a threesome with another man would be here. I just have this thing that if I look up and the man is staring at me with his eyes or whatever. I know you can only look with your eyes, but if he's just staring at my eyes, I don't know, the whole situation is done. Right. So I get up and I leave immediately. Like, why are you staring at me? Why are you staring at my eyes like that? And I just have this problem. Well, what if you're high, right? Stallings, what if you're high? Does that change things? Male homosexuality. All right. Why? Is that a religious thing? Is this why is that yours? Right, Gary. A threesome. I'm not sharing my man with anyone. Y'all need to come on up to the modern times, I guess. No, okay. If a man in the room and got the pistol out, I should not be there for any reason. Okay. He could be in a room recording. I'm okay with that. Fully dressed, clothes on. He can be doing that. Yeah, not having sex with the bi man. Right. All right. Okay. And think about expound on that. I think I know where you're going when you say they share. Y'all, they do share men. But where are you going with that? You can't be. Right. No, 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 no. Yes, that would, but Suede, like Suede, that, yes. So I keep a gun pretty much on me wherever I go, especially if it's in a hotel type situation. But even though, let's say it's just in the house or her house or whatever the case, and if I turn around and if I don't have anything on me, I quietly say, "Hey, I need to use the bathroom," and hey, I'm uncomfortable walking, leaving this room without at least having my shorts on, and I just leave. That's all. So if I turn around and he's undressing, I pause for a second, literally, and leave. But hopefully, I'll never be in that situation. All men deal with more than one woman. Get over. All men deal with more than one woman. Seriously though, but it's off limits. We all share. If he's straight, then you deal with him. I don't know what that means. What do you mean by if he's straight, then you deal with him? I think I do. All right. All right. So the next question is more. I forgot to stop this timer. The next question, I think it's more about trust, in that it's 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 a trust is a major part of a relationship, right? And your partner, I feel, has to trust you in order to be vulnerable or open up to you. I think that's we all can agree to that. They can't feel like if they come to you talking about something sexual that they're going to be ridiculed or deemed as a pervert or nasty or even judged. They have to feel safe. So you must feel safe. They must feel safe. Neither should feel pressure from a sexual standpoint, especially pressure to act on something that they tell you. But based on that question, what are some of your sexual fantasies? Something you fantasize about but never tried? Okay. Like 3 5 of a human. I don't know what if he's straight. I don't know what that means when you say deal with him. I don't. I still don't know what that means. What if he's straight? Then you deal with him. All invites to the party should be agreed upon. Right? Yeah. So all invites to the party should be agreed upon. But what I'm saying is, like, hey, the only way a man can ever participate is if they were behind the camera and fully clothed. And cameras these days, you can really zoom in, so they don't really even have to be really in the same room, depending on how the layout is of the place where you're at. But if they are, they can be all the way on the other side. Your bucket list is crossed out. So, so, but what are some others? All right. So, what were some of your fantasies that you tried, if your bucket list is already reached, so crossed out? That's running the train. That's funny. I think mine is I would love to own a castle, right, with a moat, and have that castle. It's an underground tunnel that takes me probably directly to like Brazil, and I'll have that's where all the girls will come in and stuff. But I'll have workers I don't know, every couple of miles and everything. I'll have everything set up. You can get you something to eat. You can rest and all that stuff. I'll have STD checks and everything along the way, and then eventually they'll make their way to my castle to come in and do with what them I wish or they wish. So that's a fantasy of mine, but that takes a lot of money to do it. Yes, yes, yep, just like that. Just like that. Yes, just like that. All right, Starling. So if your husband is against the threesome, how do you think the fantasy with a foursome is going to go? Yes, you're right, Blacksmith. Just that's exactly what it is. Couldn't think of the word. I believe you, Enigma, that you did that. And you kind of have to, right? You can't be dating just one twin. A legend. All right. And yes, Rashida likes sexy. Well, no. All right. So the people who are watching the girls come through, you can call them sexy workers, but they're there to work. They're there to monitor nutrition and STDs and make sure they're good and fine and weed out the ones who aren't making it and those type of thing. Just like that. So that's a fantasy of mine. A Jamaican and a Trini girl at one time. No, the twins never kiss. I still regret that. Okay, well, I hope they wouldn't. It would make them. All right, so you are a male escort. I want to write that down because I have some questions about starting. Yeah, I have some questions. Yeah. Hey, to each their own, right? Some places, maybe. I'm a madam. Okay. Oh, my apologies. Didn't mean to offend you. What are some of your fantasies? Even if it's not with the person you're with, just in general, what are some of your fantasies? What are some of your fantasies? It sounds like maybe you are a male escort, or you're at least you're escorted by women, different places. What would be wrong with being a madam or a male escort if that's what you do? I don't think I have any other fantasies that I haven't tried. I used to want to have sex in a bathroom plane, but unless you're traveling, like I've done a lot of overseas traveling, and you're up there. If you're in first class, the bathrooms are bigger than the typical ones you see, especially here in the States and everything. But unless you're in one of those type of bathrooms where two or three people can get in some of these planes that I've been on, that's kind of difficult to do, I would think. Especially if they're curvy like I like, and we just both can't get in there. So I kind of marked that one off my list. What are some of your sexual fantasies out there? Besides Enigma being upset that the twin sisters didn't kiss. That's very funny. What are some other ones that I've had? I think maybe somebody recording me. I think that's one that I haven't done yet. I've recorded or set up cameras to record, but someone recording me and whomever or whoever's and and yeah, I think that like with actual professional camera and everything, they zoom coming around, zoom in and back it out and Almost like when you go and you take pictures, right? Something like that. I have too many. Just one will work. My sexual fantasy would be on a plane, a private one. Let me write that down. Y'all are giving me great ideas. I believe your Enigma. You done been recorded more than the Kardashian. Got it. That's on the bucket list, but I don't need a camera crew. What's on the bucket list? No, 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 no. Oh, with the midget? Don't use that word in here, sir, Gary. That does something to my heart mentally. I think mentally, or my soul. Midgets, whatever that correct word is a bad word in my book. I'm definitely afraid of them, especially if they're really dark and have white teeth. There are people that would record you and direct you. Well, I don't need any direction. Believe in that more than you believe in Jesus. But I'm saying from a standpoint of taking the camera in different angles type thing, more like suggestions. Like, hey, it'd be better if you did this so I can get more of an angle if you lifted this up or whatever the case. More so than direction, which is telling me what to do. I haven't seen but maybe one season of Insecure, so I'm not sure. And I don't do roller coasters or anything like that. I've done a Ferris wheel is the thing that goes around a circle, right? Not around this way. I really won't do those. I've done it maybe 2 or 3 times, but roller coasters and stuff like that, no. Y'all would be asking, who in the hell, what girl is that screaming? Oh no, that's Mike. He's screaming. Yeah. Why am I writing things down? I like writing down good ideas. Good ideas. I got a few. So if a girl's going down on you and you don't want her to throw up, then she shouldn't be high. I got that one. The foursome thing, I have male escort and private plane. Right. I'm just saying that's what I have. The next current question is, what are your sexual fantasies? And if you tried them all like Enigma, then what was one that you recently tried? But sexual fantasy, something that you fantasize about but never tried. Mine was I want a castle with a moat and an underground tunnel that leads to Brazil. And I want to have in there, so I'll have workers in there monitoring the girls' nutrition and energy levels. And they have to pass different screen tests and look a certain way, be built a certain way. A list of questions and providing food to them and those type of things and then the lucky ones who make it through, I can have my way with them, or probably better for them, they can have their way with me. So that's a sexual fantasy of mine. That just takes a lot of money. What you miss, that's the question that you missed, the sexual fantasy. That's what you miss. And that's a sexual fantasy of mine. And I don't want to see anybody out there trying to mimic my fantasy. We're going to have some copyright issues. Yes, all of that, right? So I didn't want to say, I don't want to tell you everything because I don't want it stolen. But no, it's gonna be pimped out for sure. All of that. Yep, all of that. All of that. But the lucky ones will get to have their way with me upon making it to the castle. Sex on the beach. So I've had sex on the beach, and I am too afraid of bugs that I don't know if I can do that again. I don't know if I can do that again because The last thing somebody like me need is I think something's crawling on me. That's the last thing that I need to happen. Might as well be a midget. Bye. I love movie theater, doing that type of stuff. I remember doing that back in high school, that type of stuff in the 80s. Yeah, yeah, all of that. It's a lot of bad reasons for me to be out in the wilderness, to for anything really, but especially doing that because I like we talked about last time, and I briefly mentioned that for men it's hard to distract us once we're in that. And here's the next question: once we're in that mood and we're in the act, but I would hate for let's say I'm on the beach having sex on the beach and I feel something crawl on my foot or something like that. And let's say she's on top. You've heard of, and I forgot the psychological term for it, but the adrenaline rush when something happens and you can move objects that you normally wouldn't be able to, this adrenaline that gets you going. I would hate to have to lift the woman up, throw her off, and look down and then run and start screaming. So I got a couple of problems. I done threw her as far as hard as I could, and now she's seeing me running and screaming with such a high pitched voice that she loses all respect for me. So it can be real bad. It can just be real bad for me to, if I'm ever in that position where I have to be outside like that. All right, good, good question, good response. You can't be afraid. There's nothing to be scared of in the woods. What the hell? What do you mean there's nothing? Okay, I can't argue with someone who clearly does not see things the way that I do. I don't even get into that. So there's nothing to be afraid of in the woods. Every scary movie I've seen that showed woods, it was scary. They weren't just showing it just for background. So nope, can't do it. All right. So what's your favorite sexual position? From the back and pull my hair or choke me while you're doing it. I don't know about the choke part, Starlings. Right? We've had conversations about what happens to you when you choke, but I take the rest of it. Well, except at night, it will soon when you. Except at night, it will soon you when you hear the panther. I'm not sure what you're saying. The panther, but they are more afraid of you. How is a panther more afraid of you? It's still a panther, and are you going to recognize? Oh, that's a panther. So it's fine. No, you are going to see that panther, and that's the last thing you're going to come. I think for the average person, I had a scare. Nobody's getting choked. She almost died. Enigma. You heard about the people choking themselves until they almost pass out? Can't participate in that. You had a scare. Nobody's getting afraid of right now. How do you explain that? You manslaughter or attempted or murder, and what happened? Well, we were having sex. She told me to choke her. Can you get out of that? Can you, unless you've had recorded sessions, and how do you get past that? It makes the orgasm better. Not if you did, but okay, I hear you. I haven't tried it, and that's not something I don't think I would try. I don't mind choking anybody places their hands around my neck. We're about to play WWE or MMA more so, but I'll choke, but I don't. I'm afraid that I won't know my own strength. I'm afraid of that. That I, especially for a man, if you're going through the orgasm part and everything tenses up, and that includes my hands, and now I've done something that I did not mean to do, all because you want to be nasty I don't have time for that. So I do it, but not often. I'll be too afraid. And then I'll stop. So I'll start, and then I can feel man, I'm really about to choke this. And I'll and then I'll feel my grip getting tighter, like I'm lifting weights or something. Then I'll stop. That's the thing. I wouldn't know what too far is. I'm afraid. Like what's too far? I'm afraid. I'm afraid of that. Because if you're choking them, they can't really breathe or say anything anyway. And then if they start tapping out, I don't know if they're tapping out for that reason or not. So I'm afraid of my own strength. Or we would need some type of designation that, hey, if I ever do this, this means stopping me or something like that. Now, what's some of your favorite positions out there? I had a scare. I want to know about that scare. What are some of your favorite positions out there? I think mine is, I probably have two. And it's not what I do often, but probably my favorite. And I don't know which one I would rank higher. A launch pad position is one, and then Viennese oyster position is another. Those are probably my two favorite ones. My two favorite ones. And I'll spell those. I'll spell. Those are probably my two. That's my favorite one. What are some of y'all's? Again, not your face down. Not the one you do necessarily most often. Your favorite. Audition some of you for girls and be the glory holes. I'm gonna write that down. And who am I not to help participate in experiments, right? So that's how I got a lot of my education through experiments. So who am I to turn down and return the favor, participating in research? And that's why I love researching. So yes. Sitting face, not sure if that's what it's called, but you get what I mean. Nope. Don't get what you mean. Not sure what you mean. That can mean many things. I'm man candy. Why not? Man candy meaning for women or your man came? Fix that for me. I don't like the way that came through. Oh, okay. Okay. Which way? And try. So like we talked about, I mentioned last time where my favorite, I guess, foreplay, what you call it, guy on top of face at feet and he inside. I know what you're talking about. That name, it eludes me. Black's way, I hear you. But so foreplay, from a foreplay perspective, I think I forgot the name of it. Some type of 69 position where like they're sitting up like I'm sitting here now, the back against the wall against the whatever. And the woman is standing up, her butt's in your face, and she's facing away from you. And then she has to be flexible, but she then bends over. It's 69 that way, but she has to be flexible. Oh yeah, pick me up, throw me around a little bit. Nah, yeah, I agree, Enigma. It doesn't sound like Gray is that Stallings is that type of person. And all I see is feet and face. We're asking about the favorite positions. One person said it guy on top, of face at feet, and he is inside. Okay. I mean, don't try to knock me out, but you can get a little rough. That's what I thought you meant. That's what I thought you meant. Like, how hard did you hit her? As hard as I possibly could. She told me to. Like, why is this a problem? I got to record it. See, I record everything. Like, your hand is bruised. Like she said to. And who am I not to oblige? That's so funny. Knock. That's funny. that is funny. So what's your favorite? So outside of those, for me, really inside of a woman is my favorite position, right? It doesn't really truly matter what I'm doing. But I'm not a big fan of missionary style. I'm not. The launch pad is kind of a play on that, but traditional missionary style. No, I was doing that in the 80s. We have to come a long way from that. Tabletop is on your bucket list. What's that mean? What does that mean? And right, you said the same thing. Tabletop. What does that mean? I like missionary if she light skinned and clean. Why does the skin tone and the cleanliness of the girl, of the woman, matter? Like a helicopter, he could spin around. Okay, I don't. Who sounds old? I need you to fix that immediately. Who sounds old? What does the skin tone matter? Yes. So yes, I am old. Sure am. This is genetics. That's all, and that is all. The dark foot women tend to be less inspirational in that position. Okay, I get it. That makes sense. I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree. What what's been what's been your that was funny actually. That's pretty funny. What's been your mm, what's been your favorite or no? What's been your most embarrassing sexual experience? Uh, Stallings, you don't need to say anything. We already know, and if you don't want me to dig in, please do not say anything unless you have a different embarrassing sexual experience. Then, if you do, please share, and I will do my best to not dig in too much. I'm not racist or anything, but as a transracial white man, I like the lighter woman of that race. Nope, you don't sound racist at all. Have we talked about what we don't like yet? Yes, we have. We've talked about what's off limits in the bedroom. But feel free. What don't you like? Well, now I want to know what's your most embarrassing sexual experience you've had. And you don't say anything. I would not say anything at all. Don't tell me because I will keep talking. One time it was me, my homegirl, and her niece. I couldn't rise to the occasion. That's extremely unfortunate. But the girl and her niece, you're not an escort. Okay. Embarrassing for me. I think it was more from a nah, Stylings, just you stay quiet on this. I think the most embarrassing for me, I think it was more not an act, but a I was at a hotel with someone and she was extremely loud. And last time I talked about you got premature ejaculation. That's a medical thing, but you also got delayed ejaculation. And I don't know what I was on or pumped up on, but I was trying my best to finish and I just wasn't, but nothing was happening. It was just still staying strong. So I'm I'm on top of her and I'm just 40 minutes in. I mean, I sweat everywhere because it was just the AC was on, but I was sweating, the bed sweating, soaked and all of that. And she was screaming at times, crying at times, and everything. And I finally finished, and it was like I was drowning. But it was in this hotel, and 10 minutes later, I went to dry it off and stuff. I went to get some ice and go to the machine to get sodas or juices or whatever. And it was like 7 people in the hallway and 6 ladies and one guy. And it was kind of embarrassing for me that they were just standing there listening. And then there was another time where I was with someone and got up and we were done. And there was a note slid under the door and it said, "Can I join?" And that was embarrassing because I did not see who did it. And I'm kind of upset with it. So those were the most embarrassing things because I don't care for attention like that and for them to be sitting there listening and everything and almost like they would have been cheering me on type thing. I didn't really care about that. Didn't really care about that. I had a girl throw up like 6 times. I don't mind her. You're gonna bring back flashbacks for somebody on here if you do that. I don't mind riding. The only problem is I can't stay up there too long. I don't know. I feel like I'm never doing it right. It's pretty much not finishing at the point of switching positions and all. Okay. Get that together. Have someone teach you. All right. Did you sign any autographs when you were done? That's what I should have did. I should have signed some autographs. And when I do, it does nothing for me. My least favorite position. What's your least favorite position? I missed something. Something got lost. Something got lost. Yeah, something got lost. I think something else happened to me. I was doing anal sex with somebody, and there was an incident that happened, I thought it was kind of funny, but she was kind of grossed out. She felt really, really embarrassed. That wasn't embarrassed for me. It was more embarrassed for her. The ride is also the driver as well. Okay. Well, what are some of y'all most, or what's the most embarrassing sexual experience you had? And I digress, Quay. I think you asked me about that we're talking about turnoffs. I thought we did, but now I'm thinking about it. I don't think we did. Next question is what's it? We talked about what's off limits. What's a turnoff? I don't know if we talked about that. What's a turnoff? I like the man to just take complete control. Well, no, we talked about this last time. I don't know how much truth there is in that statement. We talked about when I remember I think it was you, it was T, and a couple other people talking about if the man is pushing your head down on him. Y'all went in and said, no, don't do it too much and everything. So if you can't say complete control, but then have limitations. They don't go together. And I'm sure he didn't say, hey, throw up on me. If you just vomit on me right quick, I would appreciate it. I'm certain that came out of that fool's mouth. I don't think so. But no, when you say complete control, I think you have to be careful, especially if you tell someone like me who's extremely technical and I try to pay attention to every single word because one word can make all the difference. You tell me I have complete control, but then you try to stop me when you say, for instance, there's no anal. I can't have complete control. You can say I have control and there are limitations, but you can't say complete control because then what I say and what I do are goals. So we know that's not true. So if you want to rephrase what you're saying, you don't like them to have complete control. Distraction is a turnoff. What type of distraction? What type of distraction? If I make a man moan, mission accomplished. All right, I get it. What's a turnoff for me? I do not like having to keep stopping. I don't like that. Now, if we're both about to pass out because we're about to die, hearts really pounding and racing, that's one thing. But if or if it hurts or I need to take a break or you need to catch your breath and I'm fine, I don't like that. So yeah, that's a good one. But when I have to constantly start it up, sometimes that's a turn off. But now, are you really? If it doesn't start, are you really turned off? Are you really turned off if you have to consistently or constantly? You retract it, so I can't see, but if you have to consistently, are you turned off? Complete control is what I mean. So, like, whatever you want from me, that's what I'll do for the most part. Okay. That is funny. Okay. I only got two more questions. Have you ever been caught? That means not complete. Yeah, right. For the most part. I agree. So she's trying to skirt around the statement or skirt with her answer. For the most part, for the most part, you have complete control. For the most part, I don't know what that means. They don't go together, but that's okay. Full control and take turns. Full control, taking turns. Is that what you mean? Cash, where you say, I have control at times, full control, and then I will relinquish that control, and now you're in control? Is that what you mean? There not really much I won't do, though, so I don't know how to reword that. Okay, you can just say you like when a man is in charge. right? Because an in charge person could still converse with or check in with or get the opinions and ideas and what other people think, but they're in charge. So he or she, with the person who's in charge, they will get the thoughts and opinions of the people. If they're a good leader anyway, they get the thoughts and the opinion of the people that they're leading. But complete control, then I'm not checking with you with anything. I'm just doing it. So 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 I'm multitasking. I'm okay, all right, I get it. I'm multitasking at the moment, but not in the bedroom. Okay. Okay. All right. No, I get it. Releasing control. I don't really care who's in control as long as control is in the bedroom. Versus because you're not doing certain things like no pegging or anything like that. I'm not into that. So if I give you complete control, then I would be allowing you to do whatever, and that's just not going to happen. Like you can't even break as much as I love threesomes, and as somebody said, a fantasy of theirs, which they'll never get to do, foursome. You can't bring a midget to the party with me. I feel like a man that likes anal is suspect. Why do you feel that way? You're really going to need to expound on that. We can very easily say a woman who throws up on you don't know what the hell she's doing. But we're not going to say that because that wouldn't be nice. So why do you feel a man who likes that is suspect? Because I know women who love that more than vaginal sex. Yeah, some men like anal sex. They are called homosexuals or bi. And to each their own, that is their desire. More power to them. But yes, they have a term for that. Good point, Enigma. Suspect. How is that done? Yes. But I'm trying to be on your side, Quay, but I can't do it. I heard a woman say once that she didn't want to give up something that could also be received from her man. Okay. Okay. It's not true. I think that is true. Women do enjoy anal. I do know women who like it more than this one girl I was with or saw a few dozen times or whatever the case may be, and she loved it. We would start one way. I wouldn't even know what hole I was in. That's how much she kept going back. I couldn't tell. She was a she was something else. There are nerve endings there that is pleasurable to men. We're against men having pleasure. If it's from a woman, how is it suspect? I'm not sure what you're talking about. I get what you're saying, but I think the consensus is if a man does it to another man, as we were talking about in here, but I'm not sure how to answer that. Women like to feel naughty. True, some of them are. I have had a couple of women just lay there. All right. If he lets you play with his butt, he is a fruit pie. What do you mean doing anal on men isn't gay? I think that's what's throwing me off. And how do we get to this anyway? Because now we're getting to I don't want to get to the whole like talking about sexual orientation and prejudice and those type of things. I definitely don't want to. I don't want to get into any of that. But how do we get to where we are? But what do you mean by woman doing anal on men isn't gay? What do you mean? I can feel naughty without a penis in my butt. Yes, you could. However, it's so much. It adds so much, I guess, synergy to the entire experience. I don't know. Okay, I'm tracking what you're saying. All right, Rashida, like a thumb. I thought you talking like you're about to strap on or something. That's why we're not. That's not why we're not a fruit pie. Yeah. Woman is heterosexual. No, I get it. I get it. Everything with the woman is heterosexual. I thought that this was transitioning to a sexual orientation or preference, and I really don't want to go down that road in something like this. That's just not something that I want to do, because then I would be getting into research and links between like gender role and sexual orientation, and going back to some earlier research from the 50s and 60s, and how you acted really kind of determined what you were and everything. And I don't want to get into that. Be respectful for what people like and everything. So that's why I thought you were going, and I didn't want to go down there. Some men like a tongue. What did I say? Some men like a tongue there too. Just saying. Rashida, I did not know all of this about you. I don't care for pressure there at all, finger or otherwise. You got to relax. Letitia, someone said earlier that I read that you gotta relax. It's just from what many women have told me, saying it's the tip that really causes any discomfort if it's going to be. Once you get past that piece, you're good. Now I trust these women, right? Because they really, really love it. So I'm going to take their expertise as the gospel. And so you need to get past that. Or your man just don't have complete control. I don't care for pressure there at all. Stay clear. It's too tight. You got to relax, right? And then we talked about practice last time, or maybe it was just me and I made a comment or two. But perfect practice can make a perfect session or something like that, or whatever the saying goes. You just got to keep at it, right? Don't be a quitter, right? I mean, if any time you was going to quit anything, it would have been after you threw up on somebody. But no, you said, I'm a beast now. You're a quote, I'm a beast now. You did not give up. So I know you're not a quitter. Don't be a quitter with this. That's nasty. She's going to get a yeast infection on bacteria. Yeah. So, well, when you're in that moment and the sexual desire is high, and for her, it was extremely high in my presence. She didn't care, and messed up hip and everything. She really didn't care. We messed up her hip, but yeah, she didn't care. Hey, and if she don't care, why am I going to care? Now she knows her body, right? So you could get a yeast infection, but does it equate to you're going to? And all of that can be cleared up even if you do. Give her the mushroom tip smoothie. That is funny. It's got to be finessed in. Yeah, I hear you. Yep. It's not a. Want some free game. If he lets you touch his butt, that is funny. That that is funny. He do. I don't necessarily agree with you with that, but I can see the point. I never put my tongue in anywhere, just the thumb. I've heard though. I can't say that I believe you or not. Who lets you do that tongue thing, Rashida? It's not that bad once you get past the initial. I praise you there, Cash Mom. I agree. You got to relax. Desire was intensified. Some it just makes it easier, right? All right. I mean, something. A straight man like the tongue at his butt, undercover brother. Why do they have to be undercover? What's a flexible sexual? What's a flexible sexual? What's gay about sex with a woman? Y'all got to relax. I'm going to turn that back around on you, Rashida. Y'all have to relax with the anal sex piece. Just relax, right? You have to relax. That is so funny. Gas and electric. I don't drive gas cars, so I only drive electric car. Unless I'm renting a car, then I have to take whatever they give. But that's funny. Flexible. I'm gonna have to write that down. I don't usher it, but if they don't mind something like a thumb, then cool. No, what I'm saying is anal sex on a woman. Y'all have to relax. Sex with a woman isn't gay. If he let you eat his ass or put a tongue or anything like that, just don't be surprised if you hear years later that he's a pole smoker. And there's nothing wrong with being that. Again, I don't want to, even though I have my feelings, I don't want to misconstrue anything that I'm saying. That the person is what they are and who they are, and whatever they like, they like. But I see your point, Enigma. There's no such thing as halfway gay. Is there? Can you be? No, I don't think you can be. Either you are or you're not. Well, I'll doing a thumb or a tongue, but I'm not taking penetration. So, but that's what I'm saying. If you're telling men they gotta relax. That's what I'm saying to you. Just relax. How are you going to tell a man to? Man, you have to relax. It's sex with a woman. Just relax, right? So, same thing. Just relax. just relax. Yeah, you have to relax. Sex for a woman isn't gay. I'm saying it's not fair to call them gay. No, I agree, right? So if it's between a man and a woman, it's not even pegging, right? Which I wouldn't do and would never do. And a woman ever comes in with any type of strap like that, I don't know. I'm probably gonna punch her in the face or something. I don't know what I'll do, but I wouldn't even call that gay as it's been insinuated here. It's just they do something that I wouldn't do. If you don't want it, fine, but don't call other men gay. Okay, I read up on it where it's really pleasurable for a man, the best hardest orgasm you ever have. If a man want me to strap him, I'm out. Yes. And call me so we can go really talk to this fool in person to make sure that he's never to call you again. That's fine for you to say, Rashida. Now, do you really want a man that could be here saying the exact same thing? Like, yeah, Doc, I thought Miss Lovely. Yeah. That is that's funny. So we can, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, so call us, Rashida. Call us both, and we're finished that. Every last time, probably the last time he ever asked any woman to strap on. Definitely the last time he asked you to do anything for him. I'm not testing my man's masculinity during sex. No, right, right. May have a backfire, right? So, and we know how you get. If you don't take your medicine, your antibiotics, and whatever, we don't know how things will go. So you don't want to. No, you probably don't want to. You don't want to do that. Quay, don't. Don't do that. Not for you. And I don't know what she's testing, but you probably shouldn't. Probably, probably not the best idea to test your man's masculinity during sex. I don't even know how I would respond to that. I don't know if I would just punch her as hard as I could, and I don't believe in that. But this would probably be warranted, or what I don't know. I don't know. Go sleep with a best friend. I don't know how I would handle that. There are a couple of spots on a man that you can get him off in a second, so you got to take your time. What are those spots? For the record, I've never asked a man to let me do anything anal on him. So you just did it, or he just said, "Hey, do this to me." I'm not testing a damn thing. If he's fruity, he will let you know something will come out. We're all on our best behavior, especially in the beginning or so, or we're on like this interview. I call it the interview, where you're going on the interview. You're probably not using words that you probably would use once you have the job and you're just talking to the people. You're talking to the people there, but their true nature, and this is spread all in psychology, their person's true nature will eventually come out because you can't help but to be who you are eventually. That's just what it is. So if he's fruity, he may come out. I mean, he may let you know, and that's fine. But not if you don't want that type of person. So he may be testing you to see what he can get away with. But if he's that way, he'll eventually come out. That's like DL earlier when you asked me, what does DL mean? What do they mean by that? And I'm not sure. Hello, Tony. And make sure you hit that subscription button and notification bell if you haven't already. Those of you joining us, we are talking about a lot of things we've already went through. Most of it, talking about sex and relationships from a man and a woman's perspective. We're getting to the point where there's some debate as to what's suspect or not. And a person, Rashida, you said he's straight, you promised. If you didn't initiate it, but he said, hey, put your finger in my butt, but then you say he's straight. I can see that because many things are possible, but I don't know. He's not around anymore. Okay, so I'm just saying. And I'm not trying to make this into a sexual orientation or sexual preference or engender anything to the contrary. I'm not suggesting that one is better than the other or anything like that. I don't want to get into a philosophical or empirical debate on the role or gender roles or sexual attraction or sexual behavior from a prejudice or prejudice standpoint. And we can have another debate where we're talking about the history and get into research, which I love, and about attitudes of same-sex relationships and all of that. But I'm not trying to make that this. Just so you know. He went off to the sunset with long sleeve Steve. I don't know. I don't even know any Steves, so that's good. I hadn't come across him. Why is he not around anymore? Because he kept asking you to do things that you saw as suspect? It's a muscle and no that finger in the butt, that's gay. Okay. Welcome, Tony. You come straight in and just start talking. And we have some people saying, no, anything with a woman, between a man and a woman, is not gay. So anything the woman does, or vice versa, it's not gay. But you're saying it straight out. Why do you feel that way? Tank Top Tony took him from Rashida. I'm sorry, Rashida. Hope you weren't in love with the guy. Hope you weren't in love with the guy. Some of the questions for those of you who are just joining us, went through a lot of the questions already, but some of the questions that I was asking about what 3 words, what 3 words describe your favorite type of sex? Mine was inside of a woman. We had a plethora of answers. What's one thing you were once afraid to try, but ended up loving during sex? I can't even remember what I said. Asked about what are some of the turn-ons for men and some for women. Then we talked about sexual fantasies and then a few other things. And now here we are. And we talked about your most embarrassing sexual experience. And one person was excluded from giving her experience. And then turn-offs, where we're on turn-offs during sex. Turn-offs during sex. I'm Hot Tub Tony, ladies. The water's just me. that I did really like him though. So why is y'all in? Do we have to do something to him? Because if he stole your heart, but then he's strangling sausage, like someone said, simultaneously, which last time I checked, I meant at the same time, that's a problem. Oh, you said I had two more questions. Yes, I did. See how easy it is to get off? All right, the one is, have you ever been caught having sex? And if so, if you don't mind, give the details. Okay, yeah, you could have told me. Who knows? I can't recall. Was that the guy that was always crying, or was that even you? So I talked to someone, and they were extremely sensitive, extremely emotional, and we know that women are more emotional, and you can see the connect. Yeah, women are more emotional and have it more vivid thoughts and able to recall emotional scenarios and emotional situations that they were in more readily than a man. But he was extremely sensitive, always crying. I don't think that was you though, so never mind. Our daughter caught my husband and I not too long ago. All right, so that's that part. How did that go? I had an ex who cried more than me. You got caught almost one time in a car? I need you to explain that, please. And I will be writing that down. I've been caught by a cop once. This is a long time ago. This is many years ago. Yeah, I was caught by a cop once in the car. He sent us on our way. He asked me, was she taking advantage of me? Yep, he sure did. White cop too. White cop. He sure did. He asked me, was she taking advantage of me? Then he told us to get out of there and go ahead. On a balcony in Costa Rica, you got caught. Okay. How did that go? He thought about our love and got emotional and started crying. I wanted to laugh. I was a savage. I like that. I'm glad that you laughed. That is savage like, and I really, really appreciate that. He wasn't right for you because he started crying when he started. That was bad for many reasons. That was bad. That's not a good look. We had to have an open convo with her afterwards. She's 14. Okay. I don't envy that. That's I got caught hitting this motor joint in the house by my ex. She beat me up. Okay. That's let's see. So the cop thing was kind of funny for me. I don't think I don't think I got caught any. I don't think I got caught any other time. Not that I'm aware of. I explained that story of there were people in the hotel hallway waiting for me when I came out the room. But that's not really getting caught. They didn't walk in. And that note that somebody slipped under the hotel door asking could they join when they heard me and the girl in the room. That's not really getting caught. What's wrong with that, Rashida? So he can't cry, but he can take foreign object in the rectum. That is an extremely good point, Enigma. We finished, it was done, so they just keep walking. These were okay, these are two different men. Okay. Okay, I see. Have y'all ever been caught? And if so, what happened? That's the question. And I got one more question. That's funny. That 14-year-old one, I know that was, I don't know, tough. 14 years old. And then Enigma, if she if she beats you up, did you just sit there and take it because like, hey, you knew you were wrong or what? I imagine it was awful too because she's old enough to know, and yeah, that was awful. We weren't talking about it. We were in the car, and he started crying. So I asked what was wrong, and he was like, "I'm just thinking about our love story." And I was like, "That was the," and then it was random. That's so funny. When she would have called me, you should have called me right then and there. Like, listen to this fool. Next time anything like that ever happens, if there's a hint of comedy in, please call me. I'll laugh for you. I don't mind laughing at anything. I would laugh for you. Yeah, I was so wrong. I just pushed the broad and walked downstairs. Yeah, you were wrong. You were wrong. I hadn't had anything like that happen to me. I hadn't had anything like that happen to me. I've had questions afterwards, but never anyone just walking in. No, I think Letitia, he is more than just loving her. He loved to cry. Yeah, he he loved to cry because you can say that's sentimental, you can say that's special, and he really loved her and everything, but it, is it becoming as unbecoming of a man? Maybe not today's generation that we're in, but it's not a good look. It's a sign of things to come. I can see him really balling on if they were to get married. She's walking down. He's just standing up there crying. The preacher or the pastor or whoever have to hold him up and keep him upright and all that. And he probably crying instead of crying and she's being proposed to. He probably crying proposing to her. No, it's too much. It's too much. Olive Garden. I used to like Olive Garden. He sprung this on you at Olive on the way to Olive Garden. I would have asked him, "Hey, I pull over next restaurant. I gotta go to the bathroom," and I would have just left. He can sit on bikes with no seats all he want, but crying is not manly. I caught my parents when I was younger, and it scared me. And I know your dad does not play. Oh, I wish I could tell that story that I heard of when he stopped and started focusing on. I wish I could do that. That was such a funny story. She was completely disgusted, but she hasn't opened our bedroom door without knocking since. See, that's all. What is the term? Anybody know the psychological term for that? That's all it takes is something traumatic to happen, and it changes us. Like if we're getting a real bad car accident and we didn't have our seatbelt on, and now we won't even start the car without our seatbelt on. Like it eludes me. But so I guess that's kind of good. And I'm sure you probably, or I believe you probably told her not to knock on it, not to just come opening the door. She knows now. She didn't know then. I didn't catch my parents. I never caught them. And I know they had to. It was a whole bunch of us, right? So I know they were having sex. Right. I know. And she hasn't opened our door since. She probably won't even open another door in the house besides, the bathroom, her room, and maybe the front door. Yeah, yeah. So that's funny. I don't think I can't think of anything. I've been trying to think. Have I ever been caught? And no, I haven't. People have heard and waited there for me when I was done, but no one's ever walked in on me. I've had people call the person I was with and say, "Hey, y'all making too much noise up there," stuff like that. So they've heard and called to interrupt, but no one's walked in. Any door that's closed, she's knocking before entering. Yep, absolutely. Just want to make sure. You notice a linen closet, right? You never know. I don't know what y'all be doing. I just want to make sure. I want to make sure. And my last question is, what's your preference, right? To how often, if it was up to you, how often in a week would you want to have sex? How often in a week would you want to have sex? How often in a week would you want to have sex? What does it depend on, Enigma? 4 to 5 times a week. Okay, that's a fair question. Is it with the same person? Yes. Let's say yes, it's with the same person. This summer, because I'm off of work maybe 5 times a week, at least 4 of 7. Are you saying at least 4 of 7 days, or 4 to 7 times? Tisha, what are you scared of? I think your message came in a little slow. For me, it depends where I'm living. If I'm living near water, 4 to 7 days, okay. Next way, 4 to 7 days. To me, it depends where I'm living. It's if I'm living near water where I can scuba dive, then I wouldn't really care to have sex as much. But if I'm more landlocked, or let's say up in the northern East Coast, for example, where the water you can't scuba dive there, probably, I don't know, 3 to 4 times on different days. So I count multiple times the same day once. So 3 to 4 days, I think, would be plenty for me, especially with my hobbies and everything that I have. Every day, a couple of times a day. All right, Cash Mom, I hear you. I see the type of freak that you are, and no problem with that. I would have been caught by my parents, but I had him hide in the closet. Okay. Yeah, that is so funny. Not by your dad. That's the last person you want to tell. My father left for work the following morning. He stayed in there the entire time. I think I too. If that was your dad, I think I would have stayed there. I would have stayed in there a few days if I needed. Wait, what's the correlation between sex and scuba diving? I really love scuba diving. I'm trying to, next time I get there in the water, I want to get my nighttime scuba diving because I'm a certified diver. I want to get my nighttime license so I can go at night. But I would scuba dive as much as allowable, as many dives as possible in a day that my body and the machine says I can do. So that would replace sex at times. So a lot of my time will be spent in the water. I really enjoy scuba diving. I really enjoy it. So that's the correlation. If there's any, that's it. I live close to a river, but it has to be scuba diver water. It has to be clear. It can't be up north or Myrtle Beach or any like dark water. I wouldn't even let my dogs get in certain water. Yeah. If, if he, right. He would have. It would have been over for both of them. Then she wouldn't be on this participating in this live session. So if Uncle would have caught him, it would have been over for both of y'all. So I'm glad he didn't, because from what I hear, you can't joke. He's not to be messed around with. So that's my last question. How often would you want to have sex with the same person? With the same person? And Enigma, what did you say? You said something crazy. I'm sure you did, but I missed it. Is she advertising? Cash Mama, are you really advertising? Once a week after the first few days tops. Oh, with the same person. So then are you saying if it's different women, if that was the question, with different people, how many would it be? Keep campaigning and one day you may get elected. Okay. That is funny. So that's my last question. How many times a week would you? And for me, I treat multiple times on the same day as one. So for me, 3 to 4 times would be enough. Different woman, I can do six times a week or so. Okay. But you're still not an escort, huh? You still Hanging on to that. Sex is sex, and it's a gift we need to use often. I love giving gifts and getting gifts. Correct that. How many different women? How many different women does it have to be, Enigma? Is it six different women? What's a sex addict, Rashida? What is a sex addict? Devoid of the word addict in that literal definition. What are you describing as a sex addict? What do you, when you say it, what do you mean as a sex addict? Void of the definition. Because that it means one thing, but we can have our own subjective meanings. What do you mean? I just got out of a relationship. Okay. You dated some colorful man. She dated some guys who would initiate and say, please stick your finger in my butt. She's dated guys who just thinking about them two together caused him to have a breakdown, a mental breakdown, and start crying. And yeah, an addict, been with over 200 women and can't control himself to chill out. All right, so what's the addict part? The number of women? What makes him an addict? I get the lack of control, but tie that to the number of women. Are you saying the number means he can't control himself? What are you saying? Because the number of women may not be a loss of control. So tie that together for me. You're being dramatic. Oh, I have a lot of control. I turn on women quite often. I go a long time without saying. I have a lot of control. I go long times without sex. And make sure you hit that subscription button and notification bell. Enigma, I want you to quickly, why do you turn down women? Often, I should say. A week isn't long, sir. and yes, what do you mean you go a long time without sex too? Is that 48 hours? That's a very subjective thing, a long time without sex. So what do you mean? That's funny though. I appreciate that statement. Yeah, so for me, again, the last question is preference, how many times in a week would you want to have sex? And for me, it's kind of contingent on where I'm living. So if I'm living back overseas, for example, where I was living, then 1 or 2 times really, as long as it's scuba diving season, and most of the time it was. But if I'm landlocked or somewhere in the coastal area where the water isn't clear and see-through, then that'll increase how often. I dated a guy in college who had OCD. Then his friends came over to his dorm and messed up his rug on purpose, and he tried to smooth it out, and they kept kicking it, and he cried. You were just dating a whole bunch of crybabies. What is going on? He cried, like, hey, what's wrong? Who died? They keep kicking my rug. And then the dude in the car, he's just crying. Did you at least give him a tissue? It's who he is. If you're his friend or anything, shouldn't judge a book by its cover. I'm not sure what part, who you're responding to, but the cover on her guys that she's dating is filled with a whole bunch of raindrops. Those are the tears. And then he dyed his hair orange. Oh yeah, I don't have any on the comments. Next time, laugh. If they're about to cry or they do cry, laugh. If you want them to cry more. I'll never date cancer men again. So you're talking about astrology and everything. That's for a different conversation. But we can definitely have one in the both cancers. All right, so I'm gonna go over what we talked about to kind of round this thing out and finish up and everything. Again, this is part 2 of Sex and Relationship. If you missed the first one, go out there and listen to it. Kind of recap talked about last time, and which was we just talked about sex from a man's perspective and woman's perspective. We looked at it from sexual response category, sexual situation, or I'm sorry, stimulation and needs standpoint, a orgasm standpoint, and then we asked some questions. And then doing here, we talked about, I think I asked, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 questions. In case you missed it, I was asking 3 words to describe your favorite type of sex. Mine was inside of a woman or inside a woman. Those are my 3 words. And what are some things that you were afraid of and you wanted to try and you were afraid to try it, but then you end up loving it after you tried it? We got some conflicting stories, statements, sentences, responses in here from women, I think, with that question. And then we talked about turn-ons. What turned you on? And man, what turned you on? Woman, what turned you on? What was off limits? We had some women talk about giving a man complete control, but then not really, because there were still some things off limits. And we talked about sexual fantasies, and some in here tried everything they wanted to try. Talked about how sexual fantasies, really takes a lot of trust. I think is a major part of any relationship, that for a person to be open and vulnerable, they have to trust you. They can't think they're going to be ridiculed or judged in a negative way, and you have to feel safe. So we talked about that and your sexual favorite positions. And I think mine, I don't know which one I said first, but one was the launch pad position, which favored, not necessarily most often, but what I love the most, the launch pad position. And then Viennese oyster position is another favorite of mine. I don't know which is number 1 and which is number 2, but they have to be extremely flexible, or it would help if they're extremely flexible when doing that. And then we talk about most embarrassing, I think, sexual experience, and one person was forbidden to say anything because we beat on her already enough, I think. Some turnoffs doing sex, and we've had people say that people they were with were crybabies, or whatever word that they use, but the guy cried a lot, or different guys crying for different reasons, but they just like to cry. We had a woman talk about it's anal sex, and that was a turnoff, but they like putting fingers in a guy butt and stuff like that. But they're against anything touching them and some other stuff. And then being caught, we had one traumatic experience, which I think, hope I never have to go through that. But so that's where we are. And anything else you all want to discuss before I conclude? We can talk about any of those questions again that you want. And Stallings, if you're still on, if you have another embarrassment, I would love to hear. I will try my best not to remember it and go in on you. But anything y'all want to talk about? I think mine is off because I go so long without having it. I don't like gay men. Dating in my 20s were wild times. Now I'm 30. You act like you're 10 years removed from being in your 20s. You literally just turned that, I think, right? And so you woke up, you went to bed one day, and you were in your 20s. You woke up the next day, and now you have your life together. Sounds about how that goes. That's that's kind of funny. I said the Hungarian hold. I don't know if I. What is that? I'd like to try the Hungarian hold. I gotta look that up. Flexible sexual. Yeah, what does that mean? Still, I want to discuss Rashida and her fascination with flexible dudes. Okay, all right. Rashida, you anything to say? Okay. So I had no idea how to date in my 20s. You are what? I don't know, 32 days removed from your 20s, and now you have it all together. Good for you. Yeah, yeah. So he's saying these dudes who like to cry, and you say you never initiated putting your thumb in a guy's butt, but you've done it. So if you've never initiated it, they had to ask you or tell you, put your finger or fingers in my butt. Hey, Martha. So not sure what that. That's why he says they're. That's why he says they're flexible. And that term flexible is throwing me off, but that I think that's why he's saying you're flexible. I I understand that. He said he liked it because of this. The other side of the argument would be, and I don't care either way, you like what you like, but the other side of the argument would be, how did he find out he liked it? So that's my issue with it. Like, how did he know from a flexible sexual standpoint, based on Enigma's argument? I think. How did he know he liked it? Like, how did you know? Just just saying. How did he know? How could he know? Right. So he had to say, you know what I think will be a good idea. Let me stick this in here. He went to a swingers party. You have messed with a plethora of men that will fit in different categories: swingers and sex addicts and crybabies and okay, all right, with his ex girlfriend. Is there a reason why she was his ex? Like, hey, he likes the same stuff I like. I can't be with him. Yeah. He went to a swingers party and came back flexible. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Why is she his ex? That's what I want to know. My 20s were ghetto. I mean, we've all dated or messed with and been with different type of people, right? I think we or many of us have. And then you don't even know what they are, some of them, because you only been with them once or twice or whatever the case, and then you learn about them. Like, how was I with that person? I remember the first time I was offered a threesome. It was one of my homegirls, and I was coming into town, and she was like, "Are you?" What did she say? What did she say? You you bring the room, we'll bring the pussy, or something like that. Something she said, and I can't go into the rest of the story, but I didn't know she was like that. I should have known though, because all the signs were there. Should have known she was like that. All the signs were there. Yeah. What's in Atlanta? I'm missing something. I'm missing something. I've seen gay guys with their wives in Atlanta. I've seen that. The malls there when I'm going through. I travel back and forth. I go through Atlanta. I'll see gay guys with their wives. I can't tell the story. I've told too much about my life as it is, as it is. But just know nobody. I'll fill in more of the story. Just know nobody caught us, and I didn't know women were like that with other women. Right? I thought that was just a thing between men and women, and now I see things in a different light, and so I can say that part of the story. I see things from that point forward. I saw things. I saw things in a different light. So I can't tell the rest of the story, but but just know it was a good time. But where did Atlanta come in? I missed that. I missed that. I see more men. I see more gay men with their wives in Atlanta than I've seen anywhere. But again, to each their own. How did I get on that story? Bree, what are you talking about? Oh, you're answering questions. You are really late. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. You are 2 hours and 15, 20 minutes late. Too late. You're just getting to the I think you're answering my very first question that I asked, and that's okay. Right. You missed a lot of flexible sexuality. Right. So if you can tell us what flexible sexuality means without going back and looking, I'll be impressed. Yep. If we have some lying in here, Enigma. Women, you all do a lot of lying. I know women are more emotional, except for the guys that Rashida dates. I don't know any women that are even as emotional as that. But you did some lying. Like for instance, you can't tell a man you have complete control, but then say except for X, Y, and Z. Right? You can't do that. And some stories, and most importantly, some great dialogue. Yeah. You missed it. So yeah, so I wrote some stuff down. What did I write? Male escort. Let's see, the glory hole experiment or experience. I think he said. I definitely want to try that. Private plane. I definitely want to try that. Sex is Seth, a gift. Sex is sex. It's a gift we need to use often. Yes, Quay is she. Her stories is out of control. Isn't she the one that said something about a foursome, but her husband won't? He's not down for a threesome, but her fantasy is a foursome. Not sure how that's ever going to be possible. Not with him unless he changes. That's how far he is from me if he in Atlanta. Okay. 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 That is that's that's kind of funny. That is kind of funny. Make sure you hit that subscription button and notification bell if you haven't. I'll wait for a few more, see if any other what's the names are coming in. I don't think y'all want this to end. She was questioning me because I said I had a few foursomes. Yeah, that's right. How did that go? Describe some of that for me. I'm very curious with that. It's something I have not had the fortune to try. Although my homegirl, I think she would have. I think she would have, yeah, because she played both sides and everything. And she has some fine, fine friends. And they all were like that. They all were like that. Miss Ball, welcome. They all were like that, and I missed it. So you all miss a lot of great talk. And this is part two, so go back and do part one. Listen to part one if you if you haven't listened to it already. A thumb with anal is gay, even from a woman I learned today. Especially if they're going to cry about it, Rashida. You can't, no. And what she's talking about, for those of you who are just joining us, is she made the comment that anything that happens between, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, anything that happens between a man and a woman in the bedroom is not gay. There was some pushback saying, well, if you stick a finger in a guy's butt, that's a gay act. And there was some dialogue back and forth with that. What do you mean, amen, no iPhone? I don't know what that means. What are you talking about, Paul? I had my little brother and his friends in a room, and I sent 3 women over there. Who's you only have 2, and I know you can't be talking about 1. So I'm not sure. The one I get, the other one I don't understand what you're talking about. It's not if he's doing it with the woman. I used to think that, but yeah, they called me over and the 3 heathens attacked me at the door. XGO. Wait. That's what I thought you were gonna say. I had my little brother, his friend in the room, and I sent 3 women over to him. He turned them down. Is that what you're saying? And right, so get it right, Rashida. He didn't use the word gay. He said they were flexible. Yeah, so that's the dialogue that we're having, Bree, where it's, and I don't know how sexual orientation got into this conversation, because that's a road that I do not like to touch, no pun intended, a person's sexual orientation or desires, anything like that, because it's not for me. I'll touch it from a research, empirical study standpoint. We can talk about that all day long, go back to the 40s and 50s, some of these earlier contemporary studies and everything. I can do that and compare that to modern studies, but I generally won't touch this. But it ended up in the conversation, and there was some talk to, like, Rashida has dated 3 or 4 men at least who outright cried. One cried just thinking about her. Another cried because, I don't know, I can't even recall. But it went back and forth, and homosexual got into the conversation from if you do certain things that should just be for a woman, it's homosexual. That's how we got there. Martinis are dangerous. Okay. Now, for martini is mostly liquor. Don't let that pretty glass fool you. Well, I said something sweet. If you're talking about my story, I said something sweet, and they said, "Oh yeah, I got it." And that was my first drink that I've ever had. And I think I had one after that some years later, but I really don't. I don't drink. I'll have a glass of wine from time to time. I said 2, and we went to 4. Well, how did we get to 4? You've dated some people. I don't know how it multiplied like that. Did dude cry when you took his manhood? Y'all could. All right. So what else? Well, he didn't, because I didn't take his manhood. That's the guy you said. So you put the finger in there, and he liked it because it gave him a stronger orgasm. However, my question is, how did he know that? So there had to be a first time. You never see white men getting bashed for exploring their sexuality. I don't know if you never see it versus you just never hear of it because you're not in the right groups or you're not around the right people. So I can't agree and say you never hear. I'm sorry, you never see. Maybe you just haven't heard. The swinger parties, right? You left right. Right. The swingers. He learned about the thumb from the swinger parties. Was it men and women in the swinger parties, or just what did he tell you? Did he just call it a swingers party and you just assume it was men and women, or did he specify? All right. Okay. All right. Now, Did he tell you men and women? Or again, you're still assuming. Did he utter the words, it was men and women in the swinger party? Just because someone is in question doesn't mean they're respected or their actions condoned. I agree. He told you it was both. All right. So how did that come up? Because if a person has to qualify their statements by saying, I went to a swingers party and there was men and women there. If I have to tell you that, I'm qualifying my words because I think that you may think something otherwise. So then, in and of itself, I must be suspect in some other way for me to think that you could think that I'm suspect. So who took his hand? Yeah, we don't know who started the finger thing. Was it the man, another man who started the finger thing, or was it a woman? His ex tried it, and now he knows he likes it. We know how he got there. I think the problem is you don't want to admit how he got there, and it's okay. Again, I'm not one to judge a person. Well, I do judge. I judge all the time. We all judge, and that's okay. But I'm not one who will look down on a person. That is extremely, extremely funny. Flexible. So I like flexibility, but I don't know if I like that word anymore. I like flexible because of flexibility or flexible woman, but I don't know if I can use that word the same way anymore. I'm sticking to my sex with the man and the woman is straight sex. Sticking to my sex with them. No, I agree. So anything that happens in the bedroom between men and women, it's that's what it is. That's a different type of high. Speaking of high, you missed where what you don't want to do, women, what you don't want to do is go down on a man when you're high, right? Because bad things can happen. Okay, Stallings, that's you. Go. What could happen? I'll let you explain or expound on that. So, speaking of high, bad things can happen, especially if you're trying to show off. Just say you keep saying she was 17. Who cares? If you're doing grown up people things, your age is irrelevant. It does not matter. It does not matter. If you're doing grown up things, it does not matter. She's talking about the person who was doing something when she was high and something bad resulted and saying they're tying her age as the reason why it happened. I'm saying no. If you're doing grown up things, your age don't matter. You could have been 27, 77, like whatever the case. You're doing grown up things and trying to show off. Like, hey, let me show you what I can do. And she sure the hell did show him what she can do. Throw up on him. Yep, sure did. You guys need to be more open to trying different things. All right, so is that the kettle calling the pot black or whatever it is? I don't know what the statement is, but if you say we need to be more open, but then say you are against anal sex, who really needs to be more open? Pun intended, right? So, so I, I think you all need to be more open. The problem is you're remaining closed. You're saying, get away from this. Oh, he was wrong. Why would he do that if they haven't established a type of relationship? She's feeding stuff into it, right? She's saying she did it because what he did. No, that's not entirely true. At least that's how it wasn't worded that way then. She says she was trying to show off. That's why she did what she did. And the only thing she did was show out what came out. There was a show, but not the way she wanted it to be. Good question, Rashida. Did you try anal sex and know you don't like it, or is it a hell no, never anal? See, my thing is, even if she tried, or if they tried it once or twice, just like those who didn't that didn't go down on their man before. Some people, I asked the question, what did you afraid to try and now you love? Before you loved it, you were afraid to try it. If you love it now, it's the same thing. You didn't just do it once or twice. You stuck with it. Someone threw up on somebody, but now says she's a beast, so she likes it. One gentleman told me that he came while getting his prostate examined. She said he pushed her head down. She wasn't ready. She said that. But she also said she was trying to show off. Now I can't speak to her saying that she wasn't ready. That part I just can't recall. I do recall saying she was trying to show off. She said that. So regardless of what he did, she was game because she was trying to show off. Like, let me show you what I can do. And she already admitted that the man is in complete control. That's what she said. How did we get back on that topic? Oh, I was asking just random the questions. I went back over the questions for those of you who are just coming. Make sure you hit that subscription button and notification bell. I put in I restated, react some of the questions that were 3 words to describe your favorite type of sex. Mine was just inside of a woman or inside a woman. I asked your turn-ons. What are some of your turn-ons, and what do you need to be interested? What's one thing you were once afraid to try? You were afraid to try, but now you love it. Talked about what's off limits in the bedroom, what's turn-offs. What's your favorite sexual position? We got some different answers with that, but I don't think everybody was honest with that. Mine was the launch pad and the Vietnamese oyster position. Sexual fantasies we talked about, most embarrassing sexual experience, and 3, that's what we're talking about now, a person's most embarrassing sexual experience. And I think that's it. Well, if it wasn't comfortable and it hurt her, I could see her not liking it. No, she did like it. She was trying to show off. She liked it. And she tried again, right? With the same person. So, or she at least did it a second time with the same person. VA is out of gas. Oh, that is a different subject. Why are they out of gas? Does that have anything to do with was it a shutdown or something happened? I don't drive a gas car, so I do not care. But thank you for passing on that information. Why is everybody out of gas? But now she's a beast. She gets a pass. No. So anyway, Bree, that's how we got on that. That's how we got on that. But anything else y'all want to talk about besides from a sex and relationship standpoint instead of the gas situation? But that is disturbing. All these places are out of gas. That's good to know, though. Trust is definitely big, and that person also has to make you 100% comfortable. I do believe that's extremely true. And if you don't trust, if you feel vulnerable, it's hard for some of us to open up as it is. You know, if we don't feel safe, and we feel like that the person will touch them in a negative way, or pressure them, or to make them regret telling you, then they're never going to be honest with you, truthful, and you really won't see every side of them, especially and particularly in a sexual way. I've been with women, they didn't know a lot about me from a sexual standpoint. They didn't know because I do a lot of listening and watching more so than speaking. So I'm listening and watching, seeing how they are, their mannerisms, their response to different stimuli that's in their life, or that I intentionally put because I want to see how they respond and everything. I measure a lot. So if I'm doing something a certain way, And if I'm bending your leg one way and we have to stop or that hurts, then I won't be further open. I won't take it to the next level because I know this is something that you just cannot do from a sexual standpoint. Or if I'm going down a path where I'm being vulnerable and saying, "Hey, this is what I like. This is what I want to try." And your reaction is laughing, or in Rashida's case, you start crying, and then I'm gonna stop that too. So, wait, who's in here? Who's mother? Not your mom. So, not any of our moms. It is what I meant. So, not my mom, Rashida's mom, uh, nobody's mom, and that's what I meant. So it's fine. Okay. So he said, "Hey, I like a thumb." Was I supposed to call him flexible? You were supposed to at least question, like, how do you know you like a thumb? And Bree, I'm just really reiterating what I asked and what I remember reading. So once how YouTube works, once they process it, so I think in the morning you'll be able to see everybody's comments. I can see everybody's comments now, and I think you may be able to if you scroll up. But I'm not on that receiving end. It's a space for him to be vulnerable. Where's the space? He can be. You ask him the question, how do you know you like that? Is it putting him down? It's a legitimate question that you have that you want to answer, right? You're not making fun of him. It depends. So communication is just more than just what's verbalized, what's uttered. If you give him this weird look with like, how the hell do you know you like? So it depends how your facial expression is when you ask them. If you look at them like, no, we're not going there. How do you know? I think it. I think it. It. I think that matters. So I think that matters. So he can be honorable. I see. I see. I see. That's the problem. Our men don't have space. So why do you think we don't have space? Why do you think we don't have space? Yeah, everybody judges. Everybody judges. I've been in some debates with people, especially from a religious standpoint, saying, "Hey, the Bible talks about don't judge, and we're not to judge, and stuff like that." And all of that's false. Of course, we can judge. It's how you judge, and they hone in on the line that says, "Do not judge," but it's more to that. We make judgments every day, right? Switching gears for a second, you see something red on a stove, you're probably not going to touch that because you're judging, and that means hot. So, or you see a car going really fast, and you're judging should you walk across the street. It's going fast. Will you make it? So we make judgments all the time. When exactly is the right time to be vulnerable with your whole budget? He wants you to peel the tail on the donkey. Okay. Okay. No, but how do we get here? I don't know how we got here. Check and see all these comments he's reading, make it public. Uh, Again, and I don't know if I said that, but the how YouTube works, you'll be able to see everything, but they have to they have to process it and all that. I can see everything. Oh, the swinger party. That is how we got here. Okay. Yeah, the swinger party. That's how we all got here. Well, I'd say that in your situation, maybe he didn't feel comfortable. The conversation made it worse. I don't know. It sounded like it could. Well, Hello, Hershey Kiss. You missed a lot. We're still going strong. I did not expect it to last this long, but you did miss all of it. You missed a lot of lying, especially from the woman's perspective. You missed a lot. It's so funny because so many men act like they're not into booty play, but they're quick to throw them legs up. Whose legs? They're throwing their own legs up? Because that may be problematic. And what do you mean by throwing them up? You're talking about sex, of course, it's going to go along. Yeah. Yeah. So I've had other ones where it was short, like when I talked about bias in relationship, implicit confirmation bias, especially. And I didn't get a lot of response for that. People were watching, but not a lot of responses. I felt like that was more like I was in front of a class teaching. And then so that was on the low end, but then I've had some long ones such as this. He's a very freaky guy. He got it from his mama. Who are you talking about, Black Suede? I'm gonna have to go back. Yes, and this is part two, Hershey Kiss. We did part one last Thursday, I believe. And we this one we've had a long discussion. I recapped some. Part one, I talked about more from a categorization standpoint, where I talked about sex from a sexual response category and how we different. Sex from a sexual orientation standpoint. For men, it's physical, we compartmentalize them. Women, for example, they like the going on dates and all that. Now, man, we don't have to. We don't have to do any of that. We can. It can be about sex for years, and women can see that as a relationship, whereas a man sees it as no. I'm doing the same thing we did the first time we were together. I'm just repeating that same thing. So we talked about that. Talked about sex from a sexual response category. Men are acyclical, which is where anytime, anywhere for most men, and cyclical for women. And orgasm standpoint, and how for us men, without the orgasm, we're really generally not satisfied. But women, they can be. Now, orgasm. When you think traditional orgasm, you're thinking of the feeling plus the ejaculation, but I explain how they are two different, distinct physiological events or actions, where the ejaculation, of course, is what comes out, but the orgasm is the mental piece. We talked about that and kind of moved into some of the question and answer sessions that we're focused on in this particular one. And that's where we are. So that's a quick recap of part one, but definitely go back and watch it. And it's the beginning of part two. All right, Hershey, what's the thumb action? Tell me that. Why do men think they need to just show up and women will be fine? Well, I will tell you, if I show up and a woman's not fine, I am leaving. Oh, you're not talking about that. All right. So show up and a woman will be fine. What do you mean? It doesn't make you gay or less of a man. I want y'all to be great and live your best lives. If that means getting pegged for getting the ass ate, do it. I will have to vehemently decline the whole peg thing, but to each their own. I don't proclaim to be God's gift to women, but I'm in shape, I'm handsome, and I'm a high value man, so I can show up, but I'm also showing out. Okay, all right, I'm tracking. I have that same confidence. I haven't always had that confidence to to be candid with you all. I haven't always had that confidence because I was and I'm still am a shy, reserved person, and that's hurt me because a woman have told me, man, I was so into you, but you weren't getting the hints or whatever. And me being shy and reserved, I didn't always get the hints and everything, but I didn't always have that confidence. And to a degree, I still don't. I think that's what push me as harder as it has over time and everything. It's the reason why I have 7 college degrees, because I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think I was capable enough. And and same thing from a sexual sexual, I guess, projection, how I projected myself. I didn't always have that confidence, even though I've been told otherwise, and my feelings debunked. I haven't always had that confidence, but it's starting to increase. But I do like what you're saying. What's a high value man? I know what I mean by high value, but what do you mean? Like, like Sway. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of finger action from the woman or the man. All right, so that's the problem. All right. What if he has really big fingers? Then if he has really big fingers, you might as well just let him go ahead and put it in and leave all this behind. Leave all this hole. You're not going to do that to me behind. Who's Kevin Samuels? I've heard that name before. And why are you saying that? I'm gonna have to read back. I'm sorry, I was cooking. And oh, that's okay. That's okay. We're still here. I'm extremely surprised that we're still here. I don't really care to watch other people because I don't want really influence to who I am and how I am. So if I watch something and I see it and say, okay, that's a good idea, I'm afraid of taking that and kind of morphing into that. So when people send me stuff and they don't know this, some of them know it now. I don't. I may look at the first few minutes of it, but if it's going down a path where I don't want that influence, I'll stop. I'll stop. He told me to actually heard Sakesh about the thumb action, so I'm not sure what he's talking about. Thumb in a man butt is disgusting, weird in my opinion. Thumb in a woman butt, I feel as the whatever float your boat. Okay, so you're fine with it one way with a woman, but not the other way. Okay, Letitia, you feel differently now. So your boyfriend just became your girlfriend. So now you are in either a same-sex relationship. Which, if that's your thing, hey, more power to you. More, more, more power to you. What is the face for? The mad face for some regular people. What's regular people? Yeah, what's regular people? Double standards. Oh, we can talk about double standards all day long. We truly can. Yeah, we can. I'm back. What I missed? You missed a lot of people taking up for you, Stallings, in this whole situation embarrassing moment that you had trying to really come to your defense about being 17 and this horrific experiment, I'll call it, that you had, but then you went back and you were trying to show off and all this stuff. You missed a lot of defense, and I think they have it wrong, but you missed a lot of that. You missed a lot. A lot of that. A lot of that. If a dude wanted thin in his butt, he gonna wait something else next. All right. So you're saying then if he tries something small, it's just a matter of time before he say, you know what? I'm a man. I can do things. I'm a man. I can put up with stuff. I can take stuff. Let's go up another notch. That's scary, I guess, unless you like that. Men be quick to say they're freaky and down for whatever, but not for real. We can say that about women too. Earlier, you missed women saying, I like men who are in complete control, but then they had these limitations, such as no anal play and something else they said. So we can say that about either gender. Do y'all not realize that men and women are opposites? Why would the standard be the same? That's a powerful statement or question there, Enigma. We are opposites. Why would the standards be the same? She did miss stuff. Rashida, you mean nothing? She didn't miss anything. Of course she did. Sex is sex, but not all sex is the same, right? I've talked a little bit about I've mentioned some stories of women I've been with, and of course, no disrespect to any of them, but everybody's different. You have some that are better than others, but sex is not just sex. I mean, God, man, you had guys cry, right? If they were crying doing sex, would you still say sex is sex? No. You had guys crying just thinking about you. They just bust out tears. That's like saying I smoke weed, I'm going to level up and try crack. I don't know about that, but I don't know if that's the same, but I can see how that could be. Can see. I don't think that's the same as trying to finger and then you're going to graduate from the finger. I've never smoked weed and never tried crack, so but I get the analogy. Good question, Enigma. Are they advocates? I don't know if you have to be an advocate, but maybe just not opposed. How would you feel if a woman wasn't comfortable with another woman being in the room unless she's behind the camera? How would you feel if a woman wasn't comfortable with another woman being in the room? I don't care if she's comfortable or not in the room. If she wants to be behind the camera or participate, I am okay with either. My problem is a man. A man can only be in the room with me if he is behind the camera, fully dressed, and not I'm turning around. And each time I turn around, he has one less article of clothing on. That's going to be a problem. I can't have a man. I can't have a threesome with a man because I'm afraid of him looking me in my eyes. If I look up, if he's staring at me in my eyes, there's a problem. You don't know. Bree, why you want men to like ass play so much? Yeah, I agree, Bree. Advocate. I mean, well, people like what they like, whatever they like, and to each their own. It's whatever makes them happy. Consent is important. Yes. Yes, consent is important. It's extremely important. That is important. Consent is important. It's only 58 of us real men left. What do you mean? Or real men left? What do you mean? What do you mean? Be sure you hit that subscription button and notification bell if you haven't already. What do you mean by it's only? I think I know what you mean. I think I know what you mean. God don't like ugly. But if he made ugly, why you say he don't like ugly? He made ugly. I see him all around. A lot of people say God don't like ugly when he made them. He made them. All right. All right. What else y'all want to talk about before I bring this thing? This is the longest one that I've had. I did not expect it to go this long. A man, being a man today is considered toxic by the flexible community. So being a man today is considered toxic. Why do you feel that? Why do you think? Yeah, why do you feel that? That's been a majority of what we're talking about, Hershey Kiss. I don't know how we transition into this. I think it was one of my questions of what's off limits or what don't you tolerate, and then it just kind of morphed into something else. They stole our women. So the women like sensitive guys like Rashida who cries all the time and just the thought of of thinking about her, he just burst out crying and his shirt was all wet and all that. No, no disrespect taken. No disrespect taken. Why are you so ready to fight? Nigga, why are you so ready to fight? That's extremely funny. That's extremely funny. That is very funny. I do have another question. What's the first thing you notice on it? What's the first thing that attracts you to a person when you see him? Good point, Enigma. Flexible people have our women supporting them way more than anybody supports us. Okay. Okay. I'm just seeing your comment, Black Suede. It's 13 women for every one man. That's 26 butt cheeks to legitimately consider spreadable. Yes. Speaking of the spreadable thing, I can't help but to say it again, the whole foreplay thing. Have the man sitting down like this, or the person on her, one person sitting down like this, and the woman have getting a flexible woman, have her facing you as best against the wall or headboard. Her butt's in your face, and she has to be flexible and have her bend over. 69 that way is nothing short of marvelous. No, what's the P? The LBTGQ, and I did my dissertation on the LGBT community and everything. But what's the P? I hadn't heard the P. Where king is not queens. Okay. It can. It's funny. I think that's a subjective thing. For some, it's funny. Others, it can be dumb. I find humor in many things that I think people don't. Okay. That's a good question. What does it have to do with your opinion? Well, we can be respectful, right? We can say a person's opinion is dumb. We can feel that, but it is their opinion, which is has to be considered valid, even if we think it's wrong or dumb. I think I might get ready to close this unless you all don't want unless there's anything pressing you all want to keep talking about. Again, hit that subscription button and notification bell. I think the next time you see me, I'm gonna be kind of set up in a podcast, more of a traditional podcast setup manner. I'm not sure. Yeah, where I'll have the microphone and headphones and all of that. And speaking of a podcast style, I am starting a podcast with one of my brothers. It's called Union Nano No Monidity. Yes, with Dr. Owen Bro. So I'll spell that for you. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be more advertising and marketing, I should say, for that. We hope to start it in the July timeframe, but I'll start including that more. Let's get back to what you're saying, Bree. We've been on the buddy. Yes, she said mine was dumb. I was just saying maybe it's hers. Okay, no, yeah, right. So calling somebody else's opinion, I don't care who started it, dumb. Let's avoid stuff like that, right? I don't want to, because opinion is just that. Your fact may be an opinion of someone else and vice versa. So let's be mindful, even jokingly. Some things I'll laugh at a lot of things, but some things I just don't want to joke about because I don't want to ever feel like that they're being put down or minimized or marginalized or anything like that. I think we've just come too far as a person, as a people, as a race to go that route. So however we feel, we feel, but using certain words like dumb, if it's in direct relation to calling somebody that or what they're saying is, let's try not to, well, let's do better than try not to. Let's just not do that. So I don't care who started it, but both of you stop it. Anything else you all want to talk about? This has been 3 hours of talking. I don't know what my next topic is, but be sure to hit that subscription button and notification bell so that you're notified. It'll be next week sometime, probably on Tuesday, but that's still up in the air. And I don't have a topic yet, but hopefully you all are there to participate. All right, so I'll read these last few that's coming in. I don't know why YouTube be slow at time. My opinion that men should be able to enjoy things sexually just like women, not be considered gay, which is a bad thing. Or flexible, I like the word flexible. Flexible, which seems like you're saying it in a negative way, is dumb. Okay, so if I get it, if you're not calling the person dumb, you're saying their comment, what they're saying to you, that's a comment, but I still can be perceived and received as a dumb thing, or calling that person dumb because it's something he said, so it's linked. So you can disagree. Certain words, let's try not to use it because if one person took it a certain way, the sender of the information could have taken it the same way, and then we enter a different space of conversation, and that's just something that I can't have, and I won't tolerate. So certain words, let's not use them. Dumb is one of them. Flexible, I like, but dumb, no. So doesn't. So I get what you're saying. You're not calling the person dumb, but I just don't like that word, so I don't want to use. It can. I don't want that word used. But if nothing else, everybody, I do thank you all for participating and hanging with me for these 3 hours. I should have asked the question: is how long? Like I did last time, how long it was sex? How long do you like your sex sessions to go? But if you can hit that subscription button, notification bell, go back and watch some of my other videos. Some of them, my sessions are like this where they're interactive. Others are, it's more instructional where it's like I'm in front of a classroom. So there's no interaction whatsoever. It's just me speaking. And that's more from a psychological lens. That's my background, from a psychological lens, such as I'm talking about goal setting and who are you, and looking in the mirror, those type of things. So I'm gonna do some more of those. So go back and watch and share if you can. Again, I'm starting a podcast. One of my brothers is called Unanimity with Dr. Owen Bro. That's the name of it. It's kind of a unique thing. We hope to get that going in the next couple of months and everything. It'll be video live, so you'll be able to see us and call in and everything, but it's still kind of in the infancy stage, but we do plan on. I do this once a week. I was doing it twice a week, but I think once a week may be better. But and then it depends on the feedback. It depends on what people want, if I'm getting the participation. So if it's just a few people, no, I don't want to do it, just because that's just like having a conversation. But if it's something like this, if the demand is there, then I'll go to twice a week. But right now, it's just once a week. It's what I'm doing now. But we'll see. Just like these conversations that we're having now, where I may have only meant it to go an hour and a half, and it's in excess of 3 hours. The frequency, even though I'm thinking once a week, if it's going more, if the demand is higher, then that's what I'll do. If it needs to go to 2 a week or so, then I will definitely do that. I'm glad you all are enjoying it. Make sure you share it and everything. Twice a week, maybe my max, because this is tough. It's a lot of this stuff comes off the cuffs of what I'm saying and everything, but some I do research before. So even though I'm a doctor of psychology, some of what I know I learned early on, and like the terms will escape me, so I'll have to go back and refresh and those type of things. So this takes some time and energy and effort. It's not as simple at times, just sitting and going and everything, but at other times it is. So twice a week, I think maybe my max, at least for the time being. But right now it's just been once. Just been one. Hey, Bree, welcome to the party. You missed it. you missed it. But thanks for responding. Thanks for responding. So if nothing else, everyone, again, this is Dr. O, and thanks for participating. Great conversation. A lot of lying. A lot of lying. A lot of lying. And selfishness. That's another thing I took away from this. Women want for us not to be selfish, but they are selfish. They want to keep things to themselves, like anal play. They don't want to open up. But they want us to be open, but they want to keep things closed. How the hell does that work? How does that work? But anyway, you all, I will talk to you soon. Look out. I don't have a topic yet. I'll try to come up with something that is fun, I guess. If you go to my YouTube page and put in some comments at what you would like to discuss and talk about, I will definitely listen to that for sure. I also have a Facebook page that I created. I'm not on social media really, but I did create a Facebook page that I will paste. I will copy and paste here, and I'm just starting to build that up. I think I created it, I don't know, a week or two ago, but I'll paste that there. But YouTube, if you go out there and comment on some things that you want to talk about, I would definitely consider all of those. And if nothing else, no, we're finished. I can't do a part 3. But if the people want it, then that's what we're doing and everything, because we can talk about this but only if women, y'all gonna tell the truth. We can't have y'all lying, right? That gets old, Well, it doesn't get old because we're used to it, but we can't have y'all lying and saying all this craziness. So, all right, this is Dr. O. Again, thanks for subscribing, and I'll talk to y'all next time.